Hey guys, today we're going to show you how to get your steelhead trout from the filleted state into a smoked state. I'm going to be working with this steelhead right here, and we're going to work our way from this to preparing it to actually smoking it and then show you the finished product. I'll start off first by answering a question I get very often is, how do you get your fish back home? But what do you do with it after you catch it? Well, here's a picture of my steelhead that I've caught. What we do is you have to clean the fish on the river. Same if you go salmon in Alaska or anywhere else, you gotta clean it where you are, because that way you can put the remains into the river and it just goes back to nature. But once you get it cleaned, what I do is I fillet mine. And here's a fillet. I'm gonna show you a fillet. You can see this is all from 3 fish, all steelhead. They're a big fish, one weighed 20 pounds, and part of it is right here. But here's a smaller fish. That's the fillet right there. That is a steelhead trout, straight out of the Quinault River in Washington State. So what we do is, once we get it filleted, then we seal it in a Ziploc bag. You can use your little Great Values from Walmart. And then I take my collapsible cooler, as you can see. Stick it in there. All these go into that thing. Seal it up. Put ice in there if you can. If you're going to carry it on a plane, you got to put it in a bag of ice. It has to be sealed, though, where it won't drip inside another bag. And then you basically just seal it, take it with you. If you have a bunch of it, like we do in Alaska, you put it in a hard edge cooler and then put that in the plane, check it, and then you get it when you get off the plane. All right, once you get your salmon fillet, you get it home and you're ready to prepare it for cooking, there's one thing that you have to do. I said salmon, but this is really steelhead. They look the same, but one is the light pinker. This one, you have to get these pin bones out of the fish before you cook it. And the way you get it done is they have to come out after the fish has had some time to relax, because otherwise the muscles are too tight and you can't pull them out. So I have a pair of pliers here, or actually needle nose pliers. They have a bend in them. It's because it's the only pair I have that's really good. And I go through here and you find that you can feel the actual pin bones. You can't really see them, you have to feel for them. So feel for them right there. They're hard to grip. So there you go. You see a grounded grip that squeezes it tight. You just pull it right out. Restaurants do the same thing. When you go get a piece of salmon at a restaurant, they have pulled it out for you. And you can't do it except one at a time, by hand. There's no machine to do it. You can't clean it in a way that gets them out because they're across the fish. When you cut this way. The bones are going into the fish meat. So you have to feel for all the bones. And there are about 20 of these pin bones in each fillet, each side. And they're in the upper half of the fish. They stop right about there. So once you get past here, down here, there's nothing to clean. But you have to go through this thing very carefully and pull them all out. So I'm going to pull these all out and then we'll get back with you. All right, we're back. We're going to go start this preparation process now. But that here is my Morton kosher salt, forced kosher salt, and my brown sugar straight from Walmart. And I'm doing a half cup of salt and I'm doing 2 cups of brown sugar. And I'm just going to mix these together. Now keep in mind, this is about a 2-pound fillet. And I used my kitchen scale, which I got tailored, got it from Target, and tells me how much I'm weighing, because you want to be somewhat, semi-precise. And one thing I'm gonna keep in mind, I got my sharp knife here. This fish is really tender, and you can eat it like this. It's delicious, all by itself. So you want sushi, skip the rest of this process. Just keep it as cold as you can till you get it home, and then you want to fillet it. and slice it. You need a very sharp knife, cut through it. But for today, we're gonna just mix this up. So I got my brown sugar in there. Already had 1 cup already measured off. Put my salt in. Trip on my mat there. And I'm just gonna mix it together, all right? Just gonna mix it together. It's kind of clunky, chunky, I guess you would, the brown sugar. But this is all we're gonna do. And get it really together, mixed up. And I'm gonna, to make it easy, I'm gonna cut it in half. And that way we can do 2 fillets. I cut it a little bit more with this side. This is lighter than this side, so not quite in the middle. Cover it up. Rub it in there real good. And then after this, put it in the container and let it sit for a couple of hours to make sure that the salt and the sugar really get in there. All right, nothing fancy. So I'll be back with you after I get fish in the container. All right, I got the fish prepared. It's in my Pyrex dish. It's the mixture of the brown sugar and the coarse kosher salt. And now I'm just gonna cover it up. One more thing I want to show you though is that this fish is filleted on both sides, so I de-skinned it. You can do it either way you want to do it. You don't have to de-skin it. Skinning that fish is a little bit more difficult. It requires an extra step and a very, very sharp blade to get it off. But if you go somewhere like Costco, typically you'll find it skinned on both sides. So that's what we got here. And it's ready to go. So all I got now to do now is just some cover it up. The little cling wrap. There you go. And it's gonna sit in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. I'm just gonna shake it up a little bit more. Make sure I got the spices on the fish pretty evenly. That's what we're gonna do with it. That's it. So that's it for this step. And we'll get back with you on the next one. All right, this is the second part of this getting the fish home and preserving it that you need to know about. Because as you can see, this is a lot of fish. This is probably about, I can get my scale out just real quickly, show you how much fish I have here. This is only half of a fish. So I put it on my Taylor scale. It's 3¼ pounds, all right? So you can't just throw this in the freezer and expect it to be good to eat later on because it's folded. So what you have to do is you have to bring it back. Look at that. That's a huge fillet. And you can see it's skinned on both sides. That's the back side where the skin was. And this is the front side. It's got a little debris in it, so we'll get that off. But the main thing you want to do is you got to get it sealed. So I'm using my Nesco sealer. I'm gonna bash and seal it. And I got my Food Saver plastic that I'm gonna use. And you basically are gonna do it pretty straightforward. Just gonna close it. You gotta do a manual seal on one end. Takes about 9 seconds for it to seal that bag. There you go. It counts down for you. That's sealed. What you want to do is you want to start, got my knife out again. Now I'm going to cut the portions that I want to cook in the future. You don't want to cook this whole thing. It's just too much fish. There's probably enough meals for at least 10 people. What I'll do is I'll take apart, you should be able to see this. So that's probably a meal for 2 for me and my wife. And I'll just cut it like so. Pull this back. Over here, all you're gonna do is then take this, get your scissors, and you're gonna cut about just enough that will seal this meat, and you want to have enough that it's gonna fit in there and have a little bit on the edge so that it can seal. I'm not even gonna clean it, just gonna put it in there like that, preserve the natural flavor of the fish, and I'm just gonna drop it in here in this little section right there. As you can see, very basic operation. And hit the back and seal button. You're just gonna seal the fish, draining all the fluid off of it as it seals, and it counts down. It takes about 15 seconds to do each one of these, But the hard part is cutting the plastic, getting the right size, and then voila, there's your piece. I usually will label it. Best to do it with a permanent marker, and then it goes like this directly into the freezer. And these will keep for a couple of good years at least. But the main thing you want to do is get it in the bag and do this as soon as you get home. Don't waste any time, because you want to do it while it's fresh as possible and then get it frozen. All right, guys, now we are back. I have the Steelhead Trout. It has been through the kind of marinating, curing process. And you can see now it has gotten significantly smaller because that salt draws out a lot of the liquids, and it makes it kind of tacky. It just feels a little bit different, and it actually looks a little bit, darker in color, but that is because of the brown sugar and the juice that's been drawn out. So I poured the juice off already, so you didn't see that, but it was basically pretty much up to this spot right here, filled with the liquid from the meat, and kind of sticky. But anyway, I have it ready to go, and now I'm preparing it to go into the smoker. All right, we're back, and here is the smoker. It's a master built, and it's warming up right now. And I'm not sure if you can see this really clearly right now, but that is the temperature gauge. It's blue, and it's flashing, and I can feel the heat coming through it right now. It's set to preheat up to 200 degrees. It appears to be somewhere around 120 or so degrees. So I'm gonna let it go ahead and warm up. I'm gonna come back and bring the fish and place it into the smoker, get on with the smoking process. The idea is that we're gonna smoke it an hour and a half and see where it goes. I'm gonna get the internal temperature to around 160 degrees. All right, well, you can see now that the container is in there, the dish, and I have the probe going right into the fish, internal temperature of the fish as it cooks. I'm striving for 145 degrees. That will give me a chance to check it before it gets too well done, and then I can pull it out as it gets kind of right to heat that I like, medium more than anything. So we'll see how it goes. We're gonna leave it in there for about an hour and 15 minutes, then come back and check it and see what it's doing. All right, I opened it up, and I'm gonna check it using my handy dandy digital thermometer. My probe is not working quite well, so let's see what happens. (170). So it has exceeded the time that I wanted to be in there, and it's only been less than an hour, so let's see what happens. I'll take it out. All right, we're back. Fish done. You can see now that it is a nice pink color inside. Pull this all the way off. Smoking process went pretty smoothly, so I'm gonna just give it a slice. See what it looks like inside. And it is indeed done. So let me just give it a little taste. It's kind of hot. I like mine to be a little bit cooler, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Kind of falling apart here. Might be a good sign. So here we go. Pretty good. Nice flavor. Soft. Falling apart, as I said. Very tender. Find another piece. I can taste the trigger. Perfectly salted. No salt on the end. So it's just right. So again, this is my recipe. You can use this for any type of fish you want. It'll all come out right. Play with the time, play with the temperature. We did it for 200 at 200 degrees for about 50 minutes. And that knocked it out. Have at it. We'll see you next time. Out of here. If you haven't seen the ones from the past, check out this one. Peace.